Business Blueprint, simplifying your success.
How are you going to pinpoint each of these particular people? This is a very loose style. It's a very loose guidance. I am not for any time saying these are the only way people dress and this is the only way. I'm just saying as a guide, stereotypically, these are how some of the styles might appear. Okay? So we're going to be talking about dress, about protocol, about their office space, and the cars they drive. So if you've got a prospective client, you go, okay, sneak peek out the blind, see what they're rocking up in, and you go, okay, cool, I've probably got an idea here. All right? So, high Ds, fill them in your blank pages. As I go through key things that you want to remember, put them into your notes. High Ds will be in conservative dress. So they'll be in often expensive clothes, so it'll be good quality, often suits, often conservative business wear, and it'll be black, navy, charcoal, gray, white. It's not going to often be fluorescent orange and bright pink and any of that. It's going to be good quality. They have a few good pieces. They won't have massive wardrobes, but the stuff they do have is quality, classy. From a jewelry point of view, it's good jewelry. So it's going to be gold, silver. It's not going to be plastic, dingle-dangle, accessory type stuff. It's going to be pearls, diamonds, things like that. Okay? From a protocol point of view, your Ds like to be shielded by somebody else. So they don't like to pick up their own phone. They like to have a receptionist, a PA, somebody else do that. It's only when they have to answer it themselves that they will answer it themselves. Okay? And sometimes Ds will keep you waiting just because they can. So just because you're in reception doesn't mean they're going to bound out to fetch you. They'll be like, yes, let's just let them know who's boss here and who can call the shots. That's D behavior. I've even heard of some Ds hiring their chair so that your chair's lower when they sit opposite the table. Isn't that naughty? So, office space for a D, often just what they're working on in front of them. So their office will be neat and tidy. It's not going to be a desk full of heaps of piles of everything all over the place. It'll often be just like that. They're often syncing their phone with their computer. They're using technology and always time things. So there'll be a clock visible. They're very often wearing a good quality watch. They keep up to time and are on time. And cars, they tend to drive Mercs, Jags, so power statements. Status. Okay? Your high Is, their dress is going to be much lighter, much brighter. It's your bright pinks, it's your gents in the 80s. Thank goodness we no longer wear cartoon character ties because it was your high I blokes that wore them. Nowadays it's your Hawaiian shirts. So high I blokes. And often light pink and light blue on men, things like that would be high I guys, whereas a high D wouldn't tend to go that way. Jewelry for women, much more arty, colorful, plastic accessory, big beads, scarves, lots of, more visible, very bright jewelry. Protocol, eyes bound through to greet you. They don't send someone along to collect you from reception. They come through and they say, hi, thanks so much for coming. Come into my office. And then they walk through the corridors and they say, hi, Susie, how are the twins getting on? I hope they're recovering from their tonsillitis. Great. And off they go. So bubbling and enthusiastic the whole way. And sometimes can be frustrating when you have a meeting and they have an open door policy and they say, oh, so-and-so, sorry, I need you for a second. Let me just, while you're having a meeting. Whereas a D would never interrupt the meeting to say, oh, sorry, just have a moment. Okay, so it's a very different style. Your office space for an I, they have lots of stuff in it and often personal stuff. So photos of babies and wedding photos and loved ones, and screensavers are often of holidays that they've just had to Hawaii, and soft fluffy toys and all of those type of things in their space, candles and incense and things like that to make it smell nice. And cars, I's drive zooty red convertibles that go faster, look at me, anything that's a bit flash. Your S's dress more conservatively in often muted colors. So it'll be your khakis, your tans, your beiges, your creams, whites, browns are often S's. And sometimes more floaty, not as fitted. So I's will often be in very tailored, sort of structured clothes, whereas I's would be in floaty, kaftans and skirts and things with lots of fabric. And jewelry would tend to be things that they got from a one-off art fair in Byron Bay. So it's that type of, I love that one particular unique piece. Protocol for S's, they have a hard time saying no to people, so they tend to take on too much. So if you say to an S, please can you help me with, they take it on and they say yes. So as a result, their office space often has piles of stuff that they haven't quite got to yet, and it can be a bit of a muddle if they still need to do it. And cars, they drive white vehicles with 4 wheels that get from A to B reliably. That's all. They're not about fashion statements. They're not about the look at me, look at me. They're like, I need it to run. I don't want it to break down. If it's going to do the job, that's just fine. And your C's. Your dress for your C's, often very practical. Like, I'm wearing a shirt and pants, what more do you want from me? Is sometimes what C's might say. They're very often no jewelry at all, because they would say, necklaces could get tangled in the keyboard. So that's an OH&S problem, so we're not going to go there. They're very much like, I'm wearing shoes that are practical for the job I need to do. Things like that. They've all thought about the C part of it. Protocol, they are always on time and will have done the research and will have done what they needed to do beforehand. And if you show up and haven't immediately, you're putting them into one of those boxes where their values haven't been met and they're not happy. Office space, you can tell C's by graphs and charts on the wall, plotting where we're up to, financial calendars, all of that type of thing, and a lot of trade-related encyclopedias, magazines, dictionaries, things like that they like to have at hand in case they need the detail. So you can see they've got quite a bit of stuff in their office C's. And the cars they drive, again, it's going to be a white one with 4 wheels that reliably goes from A to B, but the difference is they will have looked up on the internet what safety panels are and which got most awards and which was the most economical to run, things like that.
Business Blueprint. To access more great content, visit businessblueprint.com.